All right, everyone. Hello, can I get your next plate, everyone? So yeah, everyone, welcome to the third English Talk Pursuits. So tonight we're joined by Witt Consulting as our third installment of our pet packages. Hopefully everyone knows by now that once you get all 25 hours or 20,000 pet package, yes, you need to pet all into the car. That includes this one. We'll show up the periodical later on, so don't worry about that. I'll get in the end. You won't forget about that. And also there'll be inside again. Okay, so FYI, so if you want to leave early or read through, we got yourself either. And don't think about sneaking away on that. Okay, if you sneak away out, I'll find you, you're not gonna get pizza. That's my rule around here. But yeah, Witt Consulting. Does anyone know Witt Consulting? Show of hands, does anyone know about them? Yes, no, a little bit. I've done a little bit of research. Good. Okay, we got some people in here knows about them. So Witt Consulting. So pretty much what they are is an engineering design company that advises both public and private sectors. So they do have major contracts or major projects with these other such as the city around Bioware and also the Academy as well. Those are two major projects that they're doing. But yeah, today we're lucky enough to have Rosen and then Stephen, Shahan, and also Adam joining us tonight. So I'm going to give a round of applause, please. And then so now we'll be going on with in panelist interview format, so we'll just be asking some questions. If you guys have any questions throughout this process, feel free to come in and shout or just raise your hands if you have any questions. I'll come around and get asked a question straight up. That's the first. Okay.
Hi, my name is Sagan. I've been a graduate at Witt for the past 2 years and now a geotech engineer. I run with Alan, a structural engineer, quite a bit, and we're halfway through my career. My fourth year left, 3 years ago.
I'm Braxton, I'm a general manager.
Hi, I'm Sheila. Recently finished a study. I've been at Witt for around 6 months, 6-7 months.
Alright, so can you tell me about a standout project that you actually work on within Witt Consulting? So it could be any project that you work on and you think is outstanding, you think it's something that's worthy of mention. No pressure on it.
And then trying to see my space of release today, working on the city and US planning package with Metro. So in the Metro project for Asia and India, it was the Metro rail tunnels along the wood and necessity part now, so we can work on the tunnels that it's permanent works. But a little bit for the size. I think looking at King George's Road upgrade, and it's a project that's fine as one of those.
Okay, that's cool. Moving on. The project that I've been on that's been on the news most is the road build in Czech.
I've been doing a lot of work on cancer as well, integration projects.
So if you want to tell me a little bit about what do you enjoy most about the current position in Witt Consulting? Yeah, what do you enjoy the most on this convention?
Are they? The current last area drugs and rent. So it's always the different strengths of the very often you can't do anything you've done it before, so you gotta really think about it. You don't go and do that's not
Okay, that's good. That's good.
I think it's the ability to work autonomously. So going on different construction sites, doing a bit of design work in the office, or even working for notification.
I find the most interesting part of the job being able to solve people problems. So every 5 minutes, someone calls me up and says, "I've got this problem. It's got to work out whether I can solve it immediately or one of those guys can solve it."
For someone like me, I think it's nice to be surrounded by people with a similar level of experience as you or much more experience than you, so you can set that see like.
So awesome. You just mentioned what kind of problems do you encounter the most on a daily basis? Like Have you give like a few examples and put that fun problems? Are like simple ones or like super straightforward ones, or it could be something that's super complicated to the point where you don't want support like a mountain to work out with it.
On Friday last week, I was on the M7 project and they were moving the excavator from one part of the job to the other on that float. And the guy who loaded the float didn't lower the arm of the excavator and drove it out of sight, hit a bridge and tore the valves, hydraulic valves off the excavator. The float stopped at the next gate at the site, but it couldn't go into the site because there was another bridge there. Couldn't remove the excavator from the float because all the hydraulics were broken. So they asked me if they needed to close the M7 to traffic because the bridge was going to fall down if they could look that.
Interesting one. Now you're 15. So based on what I'm learning so far, so you've actually had 15 years of experience in the industry. I mean, engineering industry. Is that correct? Over 15 years. Okay, so out of the years, so what are the main changes have you seen throughout the 15 years?
So I started working in 2000, so a little bit more than 15.
Okay, that's going to be 24 years like that.
When I first started work, the first job that I was on, I drove a roller, a compaction roller. There were no qualification tickets required. You had a driver's license, you could drive one. This is what I started doing, and the concreters would start early in the morning, 6 o'clock. By the time most of the other people started at 7, they would have finished the first concrete pour and they'd have a small barbecue and would have drank a case of beer. That doesn't happen anymore.
Okay, that's amazing. Okay. And also this is for everyone around here, so what do you think of AI so far? Are you guys actually incorporating AI into the daily basis or anything like that? If so, then did it make a difference, or do you still think we still got to stick to the conventional method of, let's say, calculating something, or we still want to do it now? No pressure on that.
I think we recently actually did hire an AI guy to help us out automation in our reporting internally. Carson, you want to talk about that?
At the moment, none of the design work is done using AI, but we're trying to make the generation of reports more efficient. So a lot of the work we do is very small tasks, maybe only 8 hours worth of work, or between 4 and 12 hours worth of work will be an average size task. And a lot of the time required is preparing the advice to a particular client and moving that through the workflow so you can invoice that piece of advice. And we're trying to speed that up and maybe using some AI automation tools.
Oh, thank you, Russell. Thank you. This one's also Stephen, I also use. So I've noticed that you have your internship in Witt Consulting as well. Is that correct? Yeah. So, yeah. But as a former geotechnical engineer right now, like what are some of the differences? So when you actually handle the project, when you handle it in your internship process. So what are some of the major differences? Or do you still pretty much handle that process the same way as you did like the internship? So follow through procedures and then go along with it.
Yeah. I think as an intern, there's a lot of things that you don't know. So even terminologies of how heavy concrete feels and looks, different types of bolts and stuff like that. So as an intern, I was always learning, but more now as a grad, as I'm more familiar with the work in comps or natural using.
And also as a full-on geotechnical engineer right now in Witt Consulting, so what are some of the daily tasks that you do throughout the day?
Yeah, so as a geotech, you get to go on site a lot. So you get to do a lot of geotech investigations. Most of the work that we do with is temporary works. So it's temporary works to enable the permanent works going on. And you need geotech engineers to verify things like the bearing capacity of ground, the geotech properties, just to confirm that it's okay to proceed with the design. And And so for day-to-day, I might be going on site. So today I went to Manly, I went back to the office. Sometimes I have night shift near where I work, near where I live. So a lot of different sites. Yeah, as Jay said.
Alright, thank you very much. Thank you. And the next one is for Sean. This one is a little interesting one for you. So, what is actually your first impression of Witt Consulting? And how do you actually feel about it as a full-time junior civil engineer?
When I first started, or when I first came to the interview here, one thing that stood out to me was you have a very open floor plan layout, so it's very conducive to allowing you to communicate with each other and sort of ask for help if you need it, discuss with people around you. And that's something I think that's really helpful when you're first coming into the workplace, because when you're in uni, everything's sort of idealized for you and set out for you quite simply, so you just have to solve the problem, whereas in the real world, uncovering the problem, figuring out what the problem is probably the hardest part, along with the information that you need to solve that problem. So the friendly atmosphere and very open floor plan layout that we have is something that really stood out to me.
But they also face any challenges when you actually first came into it. Like, were there any major challenges compared to the companies that you worked before? Or?
Oh no, this is the first company I've worked for. But I think the major challenge that you face, as I mentioned, leaving uni is how everything is just idealized for you. You know, in support, modem connection, a fixed connection is already given to you in a diagram, whereas in the real world you sort of have to figure it out yourself. And that's just one example. So I think you're definitely getting used to it more now. But when I first started, that's the biggest key challenge I had.
Awesome. And also, in terms of just the current working status right now, what do you think about compared to an internship time? Do you think that, okay, you're pretty much working at the same level, do you think the level of difficulty right now is similar to what you've done in an internship, or do you think it's like way more challenging and you need to step up a little bit more, and I should also ask everyone around you to see for all this advice and support you get?
I actually did my internship in full-time as well, because I finished most of my coursework at the time, so I was able to work full-time. But as I transitioned to an engineering role, I guess over time you start to have people trust you a bit more, because they're aware that you're able to do certain tasks, etc. And I think that's the key difference. Whereas when you first start off at university, you're still going through that learning phase. And I still have gone through the learning phase, but you definitely get more and more trust along the way.
Are there still any trust going on with consulting? And then there's trust on parts that we don't trust the colleagues that much. Do you actually full on trust the colleagues?
No, I just mean with bigger jobs, you know what I mean?
But I think like between like friends, between friends and like with consulting on that, just a little fun question about it. I'd say if you were
I think
to
a better way of explaining it would be the young engineers need more supervision and they need more explanation of the tasks. It's not that they're not trusted, but they don't come out of uni knowing everything, so they need to be guided through the design process.
Alright, yeah, thank you. And also this one, Adam, this one's for you. So as a structural engineer, what do you do on a day-to-day basis? Could you give us a little in-depth explanation of that? Yeah, just today. Okay, what do you do today?
Today, yeah, okay, that makes it easy, I guess. So, get to work. On the way to work, I get a call about previous jobs, structural inquiries, and it depends. But so basically on Mondays, I really plan the whole week because I know what's going to come in. I try to know what's going to come in, depending on what life cycle the job's on. So one of my jobs here at home, reviewing materials and they've got questions and answer them on drawings, or sometimes new design jobs come in, I go to the by sort of see etc. Sometimes we elaborate in the office, so a lot of times people are trying to come with one element. I'm very familiar with one element, so sometimes around the office, maybe half an hour a day, I'm helping people solve problems and models. And then I balance that with my own work, so it's new design, I read counts, read sketches. Sometimes we do CAD drawings. Yeah, that's basically day to day. Most of it is trying to manage the deadline of what jobs have got on, and others actually doing the calculations and drawing sketches to present the final solution.
Deadline's tight.
Deadline's tight. And it's always tight no matter where you go, but it's especially tight at Witt Consulting just because of the nature of the works and specialties and the works. Everything's basically been constructed now, so the typical job is always probably ready all over budget. First week deadline ready anyway, so once you get the temporary works, we're very fun.
And also, what skills do you think are most crucial for like new structural engineers? Like, what do you think are most crucial skills besides AutoCAD? Are there any important skills you think for it? Yeah, AutoCAD is nothing one thing. You don't agree that AutoCAD on it's one thing.
Yeah.
What else do you think is important?
What else is important?
Or you can explain a little bit on AutoCAD in terms of why it's important.
Why? No, it's the end of the road, and we can't do it on the road. I think the thing that I respect the most when I'm training, well, back in my last year, I was training someone. I think the most important skill was, I know that you don't know the answer to everything, and you'll be like that for the rest of your career, to be honest, but having an opinion and using what you learn in uni, being confident with the first principles that you learn in uni, and sort of trying to imagine how the structure behaves, trying to imagine the problem and have an idea and how you think you want to solve it before you sort of look for help. The thing that I think stops your progression most is when someone comes up to me like, Alan, here's my map and here's the problem. What do I do? I think it's more beneficial if you tell me, I don't know, but I think you should do this. Having confidence in your structural knowledge and how to solve it, I think that's really beneficial. I think that's a good skill, and it's hard to apply in practice.
Besides practice, we all know that practice makes work repetitive, but do you have any advice for like students on how to actually build on to that level? Like how to actually start? Let's say some first year students asking about this, how do you advise them to start early? Like what are some of the things you advise them to start as early as possible?
Yeah, we should have actually on my to-do list to answer the interview question, but yeah, I think most important, if you're a structural engineer, you want to be a structural engineer, the most important ability is to make a free-body diagram, or sometimes called a stick diagram, 2D, and breakdown of the simplification of the structure, and those on what's your support, what's your position. Draw up the problem that would have been given to you in your structural class, basically. That's the most important part. That's the hardest part.
Everyone here know what free-body diagram is? Hopefully everyone. I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone here, to an extent, all knows what free-body diagrams are. Also, for NPD, anyone struggling with that? Raise your hand. Anyone struggling with NPD, free-body diagrams? I just draw everyone. No one makes a mistake, or just me. It's just me. Sorry about that. But yeah, I'll get back. I know no one makes a mistake. But yeah, also this one's for Steven.
Hang on. If you don't take anything away from here except for this, learn how to draw your free-body diagrams. Take your problem, work out what the loads are, work out what the distribution of loads on your structure are, and draw your problem. Doesn't matter what you do, you're going to need to be able to do that.
So essentially it's another question, so as a geotech, for someone that wants to become a geotechnical engineer, or some of your advice?
Actually, when I was in uni, I never expected to go into geotech or structural for that matter. I think geotech, soil mechanics is my worst subject. But I think what got me into geotech is actually get taught by geotechnical engineers. You realize the theory is actually very interesting, and I think it's taught a lot better than it is at uni. So it's not as hard as soil mechanics or geotech is at UC. I think what's important as a geotech is it's pretty typical, but just not being afraid to get your hands dirty if you're going on site touching soil. If you like to lift and go to the gym, you might be carrying heavy equipment sometimes too. But yeah, I think if you like to go on different construction sites, then geotech's a good pathway for you.
In some of the geotechnical part, especially with the theory part, do you think, are you actually going to use that all the theory knowledge you learn in uni, such as soil mechanics? Would you need to know anything from that? Or will this be like some English FYI one? And then in terms of like actual geotechnology, we're doing something along what you learn about most of our like practical work. What's a combination of both?
To be honest, I don't think I actually use much of the stuff I learned at uni. Soil mechanics, I just remember drawing flow charts a week before, I can't draw a flow chart properly. For geotech engineering, which was a third year elective that I took, I remember having to learn how to code and not actually learning much about the theory. Yeah, so.
The question is, so in terms of like actually being geotech, do you think that, okay, theory part is important, or do you think that actually should focus more on practical one instead of the theory one? Or do you think that there should be a balance in between?
Maybe a balance. I think the only real practical theory that you learn at uni that's helpful is like retaining designs and how they fail with different failure modes, or slope stability. But most of the work at geotech you learn on the job, so.
Thank you. Thank you. And also, I'd like to share. So, Sean, what about your opinion on the most important skills to becoming an engineer? Like, what do you think are the essential skills that, especially engineers, should develop as early as possible, as starting to learn as possible?
I think the most important thing, regardless of the structure of geotech, is to understand why things happen the way they do. In uni, you're sort of pushed to try to do things really, really quickly. Your exams are cracked with a whole bunch of questions. A lot of the time, you go on after the exam finishes and you can't remember a single thing. But the one thing that does stick with you, if you did attempt to do it, is understanding why things happen the way they do. And reflecting back on my experience the last 7 months working here, whenever I've come across something that's somewhat relevant to what I learned in uni, I sort of reflect on whether I've learned that properly in uni, and it's often to do with whether I really understood the theory of why things happen the way they do, as opposed to trying to just do a set number of questions in a certain number of time, in a certain time frame. Often in the real world, whilst you do have strict deadlines, you normally have enough time to do the problem. You're not constantly writing and having to go through something when you do uni. So probably the most important thing is to understand why things happen the way they do in the theory.
And also, after you finish like certain project or certain tasks, do you actually reflect upon it?
Oh yeah, for sure. I often sit for minutes looking at my reports thinking how good they are. But yeah, no, definitely. I think it's important to reflect on what you did well, what you didn't do well, what you can do better next time.
Awesome, thank you. And also, for last time, so this one's for you. So, throughout all the projects you did so far, what is one of them that you think challenged you the most, and you think this is such a pain in the head and I put so much effort, but it turns out I could have done something else. Or there any projects that you think that you kind of have a little bit on that? Or do you think that in general, is there any project that you think that's super hard? Or do you think they're pretty much all the same?
A lot of the work we do at the moment is, it's not like one project, it's more challenging because, say for Rosalina Church, that's a project that went for 4 years. We wrote 8,000 pieces of advice for that project. So there's not one element of the project that's complicated. We do a lot of small things, and some of them are very complicated, but it's most rewarding when you see something that's complicated and you can think of a very neat solution. So that you get a complicated brief or a complicated request from the client and you can give them back a one-page answer. That's the most satisfying.
One thing it'll be a mix of like technical part and then like a simple line.
It might just be a hand sketch in a few words.
Okay. And also in terms of like the client part, do you actually, are there any clients that you think, are there in particular cases where you find clients are extremely difficult to deal with?
The most difficult jobs for us are residential jobs because structural residential jobs because people change their mind. They're not familiar with the design process and they don't understand the consequences of change on building and infrastructure jobs. People have more of an idea of what it means to change the span of beam or the size of an opening in the middle of the design process.
But after changing, change the design process, especially on change, even just a minor change, it definitely impacts the overall process of thinking on that. I mean, when it comes to that, like, how do you deal with those questions? How do you deal with those problems? Do you tell them that no, you can't change it, or do you just accept it and work your way around it?
Without doing residential work, takes that off.
Okay. So what is something that you've got to do recently? So what kind of area, what kind of project are you guys doing?
We designed all of the crane platforms and piling rig platforms on the M7 M12 trench. We're doing all of the upgrade advice for the new patients on the M7 M12. I went to Roselle Interchange yesterday because they've got a scissor lift stuck at the bottom of one of the vent buildings. Thought they'd lost it, but they found it, and now they're trying to work out how to get it out.
Okay, speaking of projects, I actually have a question on a project for today I was asked about the city of light rail. So, for Witt Consulting, I've done my research already. You guys actually done the geotechnical investigation part of it. That's the investigating part, is that correct?
Sitting like a long time ago. We did geotech investigations at some of the substations, one in Haymarket and one in Circle Quay.
Can you tell us a little about like the geotechnical investigation stage, like what are the different stages and how you're supposed to start this process? Could you kind of summarize it a little bit? Just to provide everyone like an inside view, okay, what you guys are supposed to do when it comes to these problems. How do you actually approach it? How do you start off?
Yeah, so often in a geotech design you'll get a brief from a structural engineer saying we're proposing to put up a 60-story tower or a 1-story substation, and we need to know what depth will achieve a certain bearing capacity. So we'll go out, drill some boreholes, dig some test pits, log those, potentially do some testing, and then provide a report saying at these locations this is the depth to achieve the foundation material you require for construction.
Alright. Is that something you can do next year? Is that something that you would kind of do on in terms of practical wise outside, or that's something completely different from what you do now?
It's kind of similar, so doing geotech investigations for me might look like some testing on different sites and different ground conditions, and we get the results and we get to give the structure engineer like some geotech properties I can use for design for our calculations.
Alright, thank you. And also a final question for all four panelists, could you, like, if we were to go back to your university stage, which is, I know for college, it could be a while back, but if you were to go back to your university stage, what would you do something that's different? Or what would you tell yourself back in university to focus on a future career?
Should have done computer science. I think I didn't really participate much in any of the research events, and so I think looking back, if I was able to get industry experience early on as a student, the more internships you do, the longer you work at a company, the more experience you gain, and you get to understand what you want to do later on in your career. So I think as a student, going for different internships, whether that's in design, construction, project management, gives you a broader view and helps you make a decision about what you want to do later on in your career.
Thank you.
Yeah, not much. I focus on the things I want to focus on most of my subjects, like application and work experience I got. Anything that will be different, maybe doing another one earlier. It's never a bad thing to get more work experience, but yeah, other than that, I'm not change too much.
What it's not about what you change, but it is advice for you. You enjoy your holidays because you're not going to get 3 months holidays every year.
enjoy the holidays?
I'm probably in the same as Steve now. I just look to get into your internships and your work experience more early. I'm hopefully in third year because it really helps shape what you want to take out of university, especially when it comes to selecting your subjects. That's when I get to stuff for the final year. And you start to understand what you really need from uni, as opposed to just trying to aim for high marks or whatever it is.
Alright, thank you very much. And just a little question from I'm personally interested. For internship, you guys still accept students at the internship right now? So I think internship, I'm pretty sure it's over 100 people implementing internship. So can you provide a little bit in terms of that, the information on how to actually apply for internship and what you're solving?
It's so easy at the moment, I feel like I've got time to read the emails, people coming in, we have work with the emails, like for internships, we've got 3 interns at the moment, haven't really got room for any more, so next year, try again.
Next year, I'll try next year. You'll see me on the list, you'll see me going on the list next year. So yeah, anyone in here have any questions for Witt Consulting, for anyone here? Anyone? Questions? Don't be shy, everyone. Feel free to ask any questions. It can be casual, it can be friendly, that friendly. Yes, no?
And one in that front.
So when you are when you guys are reviewing the applicants, what are the key attributes, the most desirable attributes of the applicants?
So
On the website, you list out the sort of characters like liability, kindness, curiosity. But other than that, any other sort of desirable attributes?
It's very difficult to ask questions in an application or in an interview to determine if people are going to be useful engineers or not. So we have technical quiz and we try to get applicants to talk a little bit about what they'd like to do and ask them to solve problems that might require them to think about something. So I try, and the other people who interview, try to get a gauge of applicants by how they respond to the questions, what information they put in the cover letter for their application, and just generally how they communicate.
Any more questions? Okay. Alright, and that pretty much wraps up so our third industry talk tonight. So thank you everyone for showing up. And then don't leave just yet. I'll show up the code soon, and also we have pizza later on. Yes, we'll have pizza later on. That's no surprise, everyone. Help yourself out soon. It's at Carswell Kitchen. Or should I say Carswell Cafe over there. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, everyone.